All right, welcome everyone to Fans Talk TNA episode 4, which was recorded on November 18th, 2014. Fans Talk TNA is a short conversation about what happened this week in TNA as well as what we can look forward to, and you can get it exclusively at TNAMecca.com. My name is Garvin, and I'm joined tonight by Nick. Say hello, Nick.
I've been told that it's inappropriate for me to wish you guys a Merry Christmas right now, so, hi.
I'm sure it's Merry Christmas somewhere. And we're also joined by Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Happy Festivus.
There you go. There's a nice one. We've got a lot to get through, so we're just going to go straight into the conversation. As you guys are aware, there isn't a lot of time left for TNA on Spike TV, so we are very limited on the amount of shows we're going to get to, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But right now, let's talk about what happened last week on Impact. Started off, Davey Richards said no to James Storm, so James Storm took him out, and he took out Eddie Edwards. And along with his new tag team partner, Abyss, James Storm walked out with the tag team championships thanks to the Feast or Fired briefcase. Are you liking this development, Nick?
It's weird because I like they did something unexpected with this, particularly bringing back the Feast or Fire briefcase. I was kind of thinking they'd forgotten about that. But I don't particularly like the team of Storm and Abyss. For one thing, they've got the team of Manic and Sonata already established, basically. So, kind of puzzled as to why they didn't go with that.
Joe, what say you?
I love the fact that they didn't forget. They could have easily just forgotten about that case. The fact they brought it in, I liked it. But I get Nick's point. You know, why do they have to do that instead of doing the other team there? Sonata and Manic would have been a much better choice. I think I would be more entertained by them than another rehash with Abyss.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me. It's like you've got a team already set for you. You've got Sonata and Manic there. Why not use them? Why not help push them? But instead, it's James Storm, which is okay. I mean, we knew going into this that James Storm was going to get something out of it. But a tag team championship reign with Abyss, it's totally out of the blue. And for that reason, I don't like it. I would have much rather them have continuance with that story.
Right, but we could have also had the problem that James Storm has to be involved because it's his briefcase.
Well, sure, but have James Storm and Sonata tag team up, or Manic for that matter. I mean, you've got potential tag teams right there. You know.
You do, but I don't know. I'm trying to help him out.
Yeah, the only thing I can imagine is that Manic's still going to be doing something with Mahabali Shera, and maybe Sonata will be continuing his feud with the country of Japan at this point.
All right, moving on from that, it is surprising that, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, they lost the titles. I'm glad they didn't go in the direction we were hoping they wouldn't, which was break them up. But still on. But anyways, let's move on from that. Were you surprised by the quality of this week's knockout match? Madison, Rayne versus Taryn Terrell.
A little bit. Not so much by Taryn as Madison. For all the time she's spent in the Knox division, she's never struck me as a particularly good wrestler. And maybe it's a case of these two have pretty decent chemistry, so all they needed was some time to work out the glitches and get something gelling. But yeah, this is a pretty good match, all things considered.
Yeah, stellar match. Madison Rayne's always rubbed me the wrong way, and not in a good way. But I think they had a great match. I've been a Taryn Terrell fan for a while, and I think they really did knock it out of the park.
Yeah, to me, this was match of the night. To me, this was fantastic. I was completely surprised by what Madison Rayne could do, just because we hadn't seen it. We really hadn't seen that type of wrestling from Madison for so long. Taryn Terrell, for sure. Like, we know what Taryn can do. But yeah, I thought that was great chemistry, and I was actually looking forward to, maybe a potential feud between the two. But as we know, Terrell Terrell is moving on to a title match, which is pretty cool this week. Real quick, yes or no? Crazy Steve defeated the Bromans and the Beautiful People pretty much single-handedly. Is this the match that puts Steve on the map? Joe?
Yes.
Nick?
No.
I'm also going to go with no. You'd like to hope so. But
you didn't say which map.
Well, that's true. There's this little you can really build with the menagerie right now. So, yes or no? Tyrus gets pinned again. 2 matches in TNA, 2 losses. Are they doing Tyrus wrong? Nick?
No, as long as he's going to be the flunky, I think it's perfectly appropriate.
Joe?
Yes, they are. If they're going to try and make him seem like he's the bodyguard and enforcer, he needs to win. He needs to show that side of him, and I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, Joe. My answer is yes. They are doing Tyrus wrong. If the point of Tyrus is to be the guy to be like the meat fist for EC3, you need a guy who can destroy, not pick up 2 consecutive losses in his first 2 matches. It does not make sense. Final yes or no? Yes or no? Samoa Joe dropped the title due to injury, but he said his goal was to reinvigorate the X Division when he took it over. Do you think that he succeeded? Joe?
No. It fell flat. There was a lot of potential, but they didn't do anything with it.
Nick?
Yes. Joe brought the title back to prominence, facing off against Lashley. When he took the title, Homicide and Low-Ki came back. Everybody started getting active in the X Division again. So yeah, I'll say he did.
I'm gonna go in the middle, whatever that middle thing is. Yes, he invigorated because of what you said, Nick. As soon as he had the title, it's like they put more focus on the X Division, and there was like, Low-Ki was back, Homicide was back, all these great X Division wrestlers were back, and it looked really awesome. The problem, though, was that Samoa Joe, while holding the title, was going off to face Lashley, or going off to face whomever, or going in this tag team title tournament. It's like, while, yes, the X Division did get invigorated because Joe was your champion, and they needed a guy who could defeat him, it was secondary to whatever Joe was doing. All right, this week on Impact, we've got Gail Kim versus Taryn Terrell versus Havoc for the Knockouts Championship. And yes, Gail Kim is not hurt enough to be kept out of this match again. We've got Low-Ki versus Tigre Uno versus Manic versus DJZ for the X Division Championship, and Tommy Dreamer versus Bram in a no DQ match. What are you most looking forward to? What are you most excited about potentially for the final Impact Wrestling on Spike TV, and more importantly, in 2014? Nick?
I'm torn because on the one hand, I want to see Taryn Terrell close out the year as Knockouts champ. On the other hand, Manic being involved in the X Division title hunt makes me think that title is going to play a factor in the Revolution storyline. You got Storm and Abyss holding the tag titles. You could have Manic holding the X Division title. And I could honestly see Sonata being pushed into a world title match. Given his prominence in the at Bound for Glory, his feud with Muda, I could definitely see them parlaying that into a world title push. So I think for storyline purposes, I'm going to say the X Division title match.
And Joe, before you answer, this was just added, or at least recently it was added. We've also got Chris Melendez versus Kenny King. So I don't know if that'll entice you to make that the match you're looking forward to, but keep that in mind. What are you most looking forward to this week?
Tommy Dreamer versus Bram and no DQ. I'm kidding. Tommy Dreamer's just going to bleed. Very well, but that's what he's going to do. I'm actually going to say the X Division match. In a perfect world, we'd see DJZ win that match, but no, I think Manic's going to take that one. And Nick brought up some great points. The only reason I didn't choose a Knockouts Championship match is because Havoc's just going to wreck face. If Havoc loses the title this quickly, what does that say about this supposedly dominant character? I don't think there should actually be another defense. I think
If there is, Gail Kim shouldn't be involved in it because, my God, she's been jacked up to hell and back, and she's already competing again?
Well, what else is she going to do? Help her husband with those kitchen nightmare shows?
Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, as far as the Knockouts division, I'm okay with Gail Kim continuing to be in this spot, but yes, it is getting kind of tired and drawn out that she is still being involved, despite the fact that she's getting destroyed each week. But for me, I guess I'm with you guys on the X Division Championship match. I think that's definitely a match to look forward to, especially Manic and Low Key. Man, that's going to be a fantastic match. I'd like to see what Taryn Terrell can do against Havoc. I'm curious how Taryn Terrell will fit against her. If they do push Taryn Terrell as like a viable contender, they really haven't done that. They really haven't built anyone to look competitive against Havoc. So it'd be nice to see if they actually do that with her. But before we close out, I mean, let's spend a few minutes to talk about this. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of hearsay about what Spike TV is doing. Last week, we were under the impression that the final 4 or 5 weeks of the TNA and Spike TV contract was going to be fulfilled by TNA airing like highlight videos. So no new content. This week, we're hearing now that Spike TV completely dropped them off of the upcoming schedule. So, which means no new content for TNA. Now, last week on the Fans Talk TNA, we did talk about, can they survive? So, that's obviously debatable. But, what do you think about all of this happening? Like in this way, do you think TNA is going to not necessarily survive, but make it out looking good, despite not being on TV for so long?
I think so. I think it's definitely Spike being the bad guy here. Perception is often reality, and the fact that Spike seems to be doing everything they can to throw roadblock after roadblock and just undermine TNA. And there's also the rumors that they're doing this to lowball TNA for bargain basement prices to get them back. So I think TNA is going to come out of this looking pretty good. There are some pretty strong rumors that TNA has secured a deal, and that they will be reporting it like in the next week or two. Of course, we've been hearing those headlines for a little while now.
Oh, man.
That sounds like a WrestleZone exclusive.
Well, the source I'm hearing it from, I trust a little more than WrestleZone, but
You can't count Lee.
not that English guy. Another one that we like more. So
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave, and Claudia. But I think TNA is going to come out as looking pretty good.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for this conversation. We'll be reading and responding to your comments on YouTube as well as TNAMecca.com. So if there is a topic that you want us to talk about while TNA is not on TV, let us know. And make sure to visit TNAMecca.com today if you aren't already, and join the Impact live chat right here in this episode's comment thread. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cannot wait. Again, this is the final Impact Wrestling, the final new Impact, at least for sure, on Spike TV in 2014. So, once again, this is Fans Talk TNA, and has been brought to you by TNA Mecca and FTWPodcast.com. For Nick, Joe, this is Garvin saying goodbye. We'll see you again first thing next Wednesday here on TNAMecca.com. Enjoy tonight's episode.
And happy Kwanzaa.